Hard Studio Sessions.
What's up guys, welcome to the first studio tutorial. My name is Hard, and in this first tutorial I thought it was cool to show you my process of how I make a melody, how I go from a simple idea to a fully worked out melody with chords, progressions, pitch bending, everything. It's something that you can use in any genre, so I think this was a cool tutorial to begin with. I'm going to show you throughout this series a lot more stuff. Make sure you drop your ideas in the comments so I can have a look and discuss all the things you want to know. Let's get started, and I hope you learned something. Check it out. So what do you need? You need a keyboard, a DAW, which is a music production program, digital audio workstation, if you didn't know. You need some patience to learn a little bit of theory. I'm not a pianist myself. I had a few lessons, but I don't know how to play like 10-finger piano pieces. Some colleagues do. I know Headhunters is taking lessons right now and he's progressing really well, but I don't have the patience for that. Would be cool maybe someday, but I think not. I just wanted to know how to know my way around on the keyboard, how to get ideas that I record with my phone usually, how to get them into my software, and then from there you can adjust and you can make melodies even without a keyboard, but it's always easier if you can jam along, and you will see that in a bit. And some knowledge of a piano or keyboard is really handy in that process. Now, how do you make a melody? You can make a melody from thinking of one, just humming something, whistling, which is something I do a lot when I'm like walking the dog or I'm just doing dishes or, you know, anything. Record it. I think there are like 50 melodies in this one. Yeah, I try to record it right away because I know I will forget it, and from there it's like a little database catalog with ideas. If I'm like stuck with something or I just want to start a new song, I usually just grab my phone, I go through the memos, and I always find a cool one to start with. I'll maybe end up changing it completely, but it's a start and it's something to get your creativity flowing, and from there you can just, you know, get started. That's an option, or an option is, for example, you have a cool vocal or a cool top line and you can base the melody off of that. For example, All or Nothing was a melody that was just, it was not a link to the vocal, but Young Birds, for example, that's basically just what the vocalist is singing, the notes she is singing. For example, D-Block and Estefan do that a lot as well. It's really good for people to recognize it because they have the lyric without knowing it. They have the lyric in their mind while they're singing. In a world of then you're singing Angels and Demons, but you're singing the notes of the vocal. Two different approaches. I don't have a specific one that I like more than the other, but usually if it's a really good top line and it's really a catchy vibe to it, then I think you're better off taking or basing the vocal off the top line. People will experience it in a better way, I think, and they will feel a lot more familiar with the melody if they already heard the vocal before, which is doing the same notes. I'm just gonna make a melody from a thing that I have in mind. In real life, I would record this, and then from there I would try a few different approaches. And with the chords, you can like give a totally different vibe to it. So in that way, I'm just going to show you the simplified process, the steps I'm doing. That's a way to make a start, and then from there you can make variations, change it, change the feeling. It depends, because maybe tomorrow you will listen to it, and then you're like, yeah, the chords are a bit like cheesy, or I want to make it a bit more serious or a bit more straight, or, you know, you can go a lot of different directions with that. So this is a simplified version of making a melody, just the basic steps, and from there you can just do your own thing. So one big tip is learn a scale. I'm playing in C minor. Don't ask me why. I learned that like 10 years ago, I think. I learned a scale, C minor. Someone gave me a tip like, hey, did you know there are scales? No, I only know a keyboard. I don't know what a scale is. Basically, a scale is a collection of notes. So I always play in C minor, which is these notes. Within that scale, within that collection of notes, you have a chord. A chord is made up of 3 or more notes, and a chord usually gives the feeling to a melody. Now you have minor or major chords. A minor is like a more sad chord, and a major is a more happy chord. Once again, I'm not a musical theorist, so I don't want to give you the wrong explanation to the theory behind it. That's a thing that you just need to learn and practice a lot. That's not a lot of explaining that I can do. You just got to look up the scale. For example, if we go on Google and I just look up scale C minor, I literally do this all the time. I just go on Google Images, and you can see C minor. These are the notes that I'm playing. And then there are a bunch of other scales. You have A minor, which is only the white keys. A lot of people do that. But I'm always playing in C minor, and then I'm just transposing, like in Cubase, you have this transpose section here. I'm sure it's in every DAW. And then you can just transpose to any scale. So if it's like, if I put that to +1, then all these notes will shift up 1 note. And you can just set it to any number you want. So if you get a vocal that's in A minor, don't ask me how many notes that is up or down. I just do that by hearing it. I can just still play my C minor, and then I just transpose the whole channel or the whole project. And then I can just play along with that vocal without even knowing the scale that the singer recorded it in. So that's a great tip, I think, that I wish I knew sooner. I don't know all the scales, just one scale that I know very well. I can just jam really easily. I can jam in that scale, and then that's what I need to just get my idea out and to record it and to just play along a little bit. So today, while I was walking my dog, I recorded this little memo. I know, amazing, right? So what I'll do in this case is just record that little singing that I did. I usually always sing around the C note. I think that's because I'm always playing in that scale, so I usually... See, that's just a C. I somehow automatically always sing around a C. Won't be true pitch because I'm not a singer, but... So that's what I sang. Super easy, but my approach in this case would be just record these notes to a click. A click is just like a metronome, so you have the beat. So easy as that. So then we go down. As you can see, yeah, of course it's a little bit of experience that I have that note in mind, that I know that it should be that note, but that's also because I'm always playing in that same scale. So I already know that like a B is not in the scale, and you're already here. If I'm playing and I will play a B, you hear that B, it just doesn't belong in this scale. You could make it fit if you're doing like really Beethoven shit, but I'm not that good. So usually in just a simple melody like this one, that B will really not fit. And let's say, just to show you guys what I mean with that scale, if I'm just going down the notes of the scale, you will hear they will all have a feeling, and they all work with that little thing that I recorded on my phone. So that were all the notes of the scale. Just to show you guys that with those notes, then you can make chords. A chord is basically 3 notes, but I'm not an expert on chord theory. What you can do is, usually I will just play the bass note, so in this case is C, and then the top note of the chord, which in this case would be a G. That's called a fifth, and that's because it's the fifth note in the scale. So if I'm going up 5 notes from the C, then I will end up at a G. So you will hear harmonically, that sounds really nice. So that would be not a full chord, but it's called like a power chord because you're only playing 2 notes. And then if you would add a middle note, so that's a full chord. If I play it an octave higher, that would be a C minor chord. Major sounds usually more uplifting. That's major, and that's minor. So in this case, again, I'll keep saying it because I know that scale. For me, it's really fast to find out a fitting bass note. I think because it has a bit of a cooler feel, although right now it's just a little loopy kind of melody and it's just the piano. But I already hear that it has like the way I record it is like da 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 da, and I'm already doing like pitch bends. Da da. That's also stuff I will draw in later. I always strip it down just to a piano to get the feeling there, and then I already know like later I will take a fat lead, layer chords, a choir, fat bass under it, and that will really make the melody. But the essence of the melody is super simple, and it just all starts with a little do 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 do. That's all it is in the end if you strip it down from all its fatness, if that's a word. So let's try a little bass note, see what works. I usually play it live. Right now I'll just play only the bass note. And I think because the question answer, that's like a concept. Question. That could be an answer. It's a thing in music that works really well. And it's kind of something that you expect. So straight. So that could be a thing. Then I'm playing the fifth on top. So I know a C, the fifth is a G. So that will just be the same. And then we go to a G sharp. The fifth of a G sharp is a D sharp because it's, if you take the G sharp and you go up 5 notes in the scale, you get the D sharp. And then we go to A sharp, 5 notes up, that's the F. So the fifth of the A sharp is a F. So we have this. That's all it is. So I'll record that. So super easy, but like I said, I have a feeling this melody is a bit more straight, and then later on when we are adding chords to it, like full lead chords, then we can give more feeling to it. A trick that usually works is that halfway of the melody, so we're starting out at a C with the bass note, that halfway you go the third note down, so the C. Then one down would be A sharp, and another down would be G sharp. So I can already put this in the middle of the melody at G sharp. And then you can just usually, I will just try it, build it back up. Or maybe, yeah, like that. As you can see, I'm not 100% sure all the time. I also have to try things. But I think this is cool. And then back home. I had something double. That was the problem. So let me try it again if that works. I think this is the best if you just keep it here. Then, middle note of the chord. Just move this all up. So this will now just be the bass note and also the note of the kick in the end. Again, it's a really simple melody in this case. I'm not making good stuff every day, so forgive me. I also don't want to stage something and like practice 2 days on a sick melody and then show you, hey, look what I'm playing on out of the top of my head. So this real life, this is just what I came up with today. So this could be the bass for a melody. What I would do then is add the middle note to the chord. We're in a C minor scale, so I know that there is a D sharp in the middle. And then I know that here is a C and here is a D. A thing you can always keep in mind is this: if it's a minor chord, then you have, this is the bass note. Then you have 2 notes. You skip 2 notes, that's your middle note. And then you have 3 notes left here. If it's a major chord, it's the other way around. It's 3 notes here and 2 notes there. So that's just a little life hack. Don't ask me to explain it in like music theory language. But that's a really easy thing to know how to make your chords. You can hear it starting to get more body, and I might add a little note down here, which is basically just this chord, to give it a bit more. So in the drop, you would have one kick going ding 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 for a bit more drive. Immediately here, there is not a full chord yet, so you're missing a bit of that feeling. Again, this is just the experience or repetition that I already know these notes, that they should be there. Again, it's 2, 3. See, it's always in the middle. What we can do now is, it's called flipping a chord. It means that you are flipping some notes. Like I have, if I have a C minor chord, then I can also play that C at the top. So it sounds like this. But it's still the same chord, I'm only playing the low note at the top. It's the same chord, but it gives a different feeling. So I could maybe try this. I'm just gonna try it, I don't know if it sounds cool. And then here, dun, dun. Maybe that one down. I think the ending could be better, but for now, I don't want to spend too much time because this video will be super long and I want to just keep it to the point. But I already hear that the ending could be better, but that would also take me some time to find some options. Again, I'm not a piano player, so it can also, there are also times where I don't even know myself. Like it's like a puzzle that you have to figure out, like, oh, this is catchy, and oh no, in the middle it's good, but at the end it's really boring. Yeah, in this case I hear the ending is not 100% right yet. But, you know, if I spend some more time, I'll probably find it. Maybe that one up. Okay, so this could be a start. What I'll do now is just take a little serum. I usually just take a few, and I take like a little base layer. Base. So this is a base. So what I'll do is just copy this MIDI, and I usually just mute the top notes. Of course, this is really low now. Here I'll just make a little, like this could be the top lead. So I'm just copying my MIDI from the piano, muting. I'm gonna play this one octave lower. I just take a June for this. Just a quick sound to play along. Really high. So, very beautiful lead. Again, it's not about leads in this episode. Okay, then I'll just add a little serum for the chords. Just a simple. Something like that. Again, mute everything. And then what I'll do is adjust the chords to the top note, like rhythm-wise. So I'm just going to look at this melody, and then I'm going to like put that same rhythm on the chords. I'll just do that real quick. The melody is now, the chords are now following the rhythm of the top lead. What you can do now is start adjusting the chords, and this is a little bit random, but I'm just going to see if I can find some better vibes that fit better with the top lead. Because here you can see the top lead is doing a D sharp and a D, and here it's a D sharp and a D sharp. So what if I try that? That already fits better. This is a bit at random. Here it's the same. Okay, getting there. By this point, I'll usually just delete the notes that I don't use. And then I'm going to add some pitch bends. Pitch bend, really easy, is this on the keyboard. You're just bending the pitch. And what this does is give a lot more feeling to the melody. Because I can sing da, 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 or da, 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 da. You know, that's a lot of more feeling because it's a bit more realistic. Like a violin is also not straight, it's also bowing, you know, and that's a bit see, that was just a little nudge that I did. And it already gives more feeling. Only thing is that this is something that sucks in Cubase, but you know. So like this little nudge, I can just copy that to all those notes because it's every time the same. Maybe there. And I'll just put one here at 0. I'll just do a lot of them just to give you a bit of an idea of where I would usually put those. It's basically on every long note. I'm just gonna overdo it this time. By this point, I'm usually adding like a little trancey pluck as well. Again, it's not about the sound in this one. I'll do that in a different project because I know this sounds really crap. But I just want to show you the steps, you know, that I'm doing. See, I still keep that piano thing right there so I can always grab the chords if I need them. Muting this. So I just want to do like a little plucky. So basically that's enough. Just with a little filter thingy on 116, 1.8. Maybe a little kickstart on top to give some movement. I'm gonna see how it sounds with the bass. Maybe an octave higher. Okay, let's try. Okay, that would be a cool beginning for something, you know. Something that I also do I think in every track is like a choir stab. I always use the Omnisphere for that or Contact, but for this type of thing that I want to do, I always use this choir full vibrato. That's a pretty fat one. Again, I'll just do the one every time. And then I'll usually just do this like one beat in length. So it's just like a little stabbing choir. Stabbing, I mean like a short. So this is even too long. And then one octave higher, and I'll just throw a OTT on top. I know there's reverb and everything in the Omnisphere, but I'm doing this on purpose because the OTT will just pull everything up. And I just want to make it like a little bigger. So let's see. So that's a bit the process that I wanted to show you guys what I'm doing and what's my approach. Of course, I use some quick sounds right now, so it sounds like garbage. But in another project, I'll show you some plugin chains and leads. And, you know, in this case, you would put like a really fat build-up, maybe a cool vocal that's in front of it, announce it properly with sweeps and impacts. And this is just the basic steps of how you could approach from simple phone recording to a melody from which you can work. And then again, now you have this beginning, and then now you can just try different stuff, you know, go in the piano roll, try notes that you're not even sure will work, but you just try them, and then by accident you can sometimes find something really cool. That's also a thing you got to keep in mind. Like this, the scale is like, it's a rule, you know, those notes, they fit well, but it's not like written in stone. There's still, you can sometimes find a weird chord that fits really well. One quick example before we end this video is in Welcome. That's the chords of Welcome. But at the end, this chord, it's a really weird feeling, but in the melody of Welcome, it gives a really cool dark feeling at the end that you're not really expecting. And that was also just something I was moving a chord, I think, from an E, and then I just moved it up, and it suddenly was like, oh, whoa, this sounds really fat. But sometimes it just works. There are a lot of hardstyle tracks with some darker notes in it, and that gives a really original feeling.
Hard Driver Studio Sessions.
What's up, guys? Welcome to the Hard Driver demo drop. This is a thing I want to do at the end of each tutorial. What you can do is send your demos to the link. I'll put it in the screen right now. I will give a live commentary. I'll try to give some tips and some feedback, some stuff you can work with, or maybe it's just fucking sick and I don't have anything to say. That can also be the case. First one, Enigma, Nobody Like You. Let's check it out. So first off, nice vocal. I like the kicks. They are a bit techy. You know, it doesn't sound raw, but I mean, it sounds really fresh and energetic, but it has it has some balls to it, which I really like. Screeches are also cool. They sound nice and evil and crunchy, and that's something I personally really like. Now here at the ending, right before the break, the pitch is going up. The note of the kick is going up. I like that, but I would maybe bring it back down so you end back at your root note when the breakdown starts. It's usually something that feels a bit more natural, that you go back to the root.
Super late, but I'm so drunk. Trying to pick the pieces of the fell broke. Tell me that you didn't go and lose hope on me. Can somebody help me out this?
So really cool. I like the guitar. The chords are not the most original chords, but these are chords that work really well. So nothing to say about that. I like the vocal, how it starts.
I know it's super late, but I'm so drunk.
It has a really original sound. It's like a bit, it's singing, but it's also a bit like, yeah, I get a little bit of a Linkin Park Chester kind of feel right here. And then I like how he starts to sing like full energy. Now I'm really curious for the melody. That's like a really big part of this track. That's really important, of course. Yeah, the melody is cool. It still feels a little bit safe to me, if that makes sense. Like, it's correct and everything, but it's not like... I think it can be a little bit more big, or like maybe a chord switch somewhere in the middle that gives you a little bit of a different vibe. But overall, it's a nice melody, but I would try to make it... find a little bit more of a switch in the feeling to give it a little bit more of an extra vibe to it. Let's check this last part. Okay, so here he did like a modulation, which means you switch to a different scale. I have said the word scale, I think 50 times in this video. So this is something that always works. I also do that a lot, just to switch up the feeling. And I'm just gonna skip to the drop. Okay, yeah, this works, but I would personally maybe try to introduce like a different sound, or maybe, let me just double check. Okay, so it's a little bit of a different kick, but I would maybe try a totally different kick. Maybe an example, take my own track. Alive with Frequencers, we used a totally different kick at the end. Like in the main drop, we used the kick from Young Birds, which we like added a little bit. And then at the end, we used a more techie kick. So maybe that's something that will also work in this track, because you also have a techie kick in the intro. And then a trick that always works is filling up some notes, maybe every second bar, with a screech. You could add a screech there, just to make it interesting until the end of the track. For some people, yeah, this is, don't get me wrong, this works, and this could be the track how it is, but to keep it a little bit more interesting, I would maybe look at that last part and then try to introduce some new elements to keep it fresh and exciting. All right, so Enigma, Nobody Like You, really cool track. Check out my feedback. I think that will make the track overall just a little few percent better, and it's not big things to change, but definitely check it out, because you can always, if you can get it a few percent better, do it. Yeah. All right, second demo is from Yuta Imai. I hope I said it right. Arcade is the name of the track. I'm going to check it out. What I already see, and this is like producer info, is like he lowered the volumes on the master. That's something I also do. You reduce the volume a little bit before the kick hits. So that is a really simple trick, and it gives your drop a lot more energy, because you're simply like taking out some energy before it, and then you come back up. Usually you can do like 1.5 dB. You can even remove some low end towards the climax. Change the width of the stereo field. That's something I also do a lot, I think, in every track. Usually in every track. Yuta Imai Arcade. Let's check it out. I already hear like an old Clubheads bass. It's like Dutch dance music from back in the days. Like a donk bass. Really cool. Okay. Yeah, I really like how this sounds. This is something I haven't, not that I never heard something like it, but it has a like a bit of a back in the days feeling with fresh elements. And the kick is like, yeah, you would call it a reverse bass, but it sounds really fresh. I like what he did with the vocal, how he chopped it up. It sounds really snappy, which is always cool if you do like chops. Make sure they are really cutting through the mix. Cutting. Okay, let's continue. And I like again how he does like a screech, dun, 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 and then at the last note he adds a chord to it, or lead. Original, I never did something like that. Cool. Okay. I like the switch, but this kick needs some more transient on the punch. Transient means a snap, so it cuts through. So you can use an envelope shaper or transient shaper or something like that. I'm sure every software has that. So I would just use that transient from the previous kick, just layer that in, and that will also make sure it, like the two kicks have like the similar feeling of energy because they have the same attack or transient. All right. Arcade. Yeah, this is really cool. Okay, I like the melody. I really like the arcade part. That sounds really dope. A thing I would do, like what I did in the tutorials before, the pitch bending, definitely with a melody like this. If you would add like a little pitch bend from negative to 0 on the, that will give it a lot more vibe to it. I would definitely try that. And what also would work if you would do like a third note on that high one. If you would do on top, so it becomes like a little chord. Curious for the climax kick. Okay. So this is a double fake drop. Yeah, I think this is really cool. Really, I like that it's like a double fake drop. At first, I was ready to start commenting on the kick, like, yeah, it needs some more transient and stuff. But then I heard this little build up. Really cool. Some nerd talk on the high kick. There's a little bump in the low end. It's like. So you might want to check that out and fix that. But yeah, I really like how this sounds. It sounds really refreshing, really uplifting. It's not cheesy or anything. Usually when you do something like that, it becomes cheesy really fast, and there's only one act they can do that. Tweaks. So yeah, really cool, this one. Really like it. Maybe reduce the reverb a little bit. I think it's a little bit much. Nice kick as well. So that was it for this episode. 2 really cool demos by Enigma and Yuta Imai. Good job, guys. I'll see you guys in the next video. Make sure you drop your demos. Link is in the video. Leave some comments down below. I hope this feedback was useful. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.
Hard Driver Studio Sessions.